Welcome back to ESPR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Owen McKendry. This is a reaction video to the news that Jai Opetaia will defend his IBF World Cruiserweight title against Jordan Thompson. Owen, thanks for joining me. I suppose we were expecting Jai Opetaia to face Richard Riakporhe at one point. For one reason or another, that fight's not happening. Got Jordan Thompson as well, who's 15-0. Been with Matchroom for a little while now. Last fight was a stoppage victory over Luke Watkins. What is your reaction to this fight happening, being made official?
Strange, mate. I know, obviously, Jai Opetaia, like we were saying in the chat, same before this video, he's just got that big win over Maris Bradis, which has opened him up onto the world stage, really. But yeah, strange. Riakporhe's a good fight. I think Riakporhe's fight on fight has been getting towards that sort of world level contention. But yeah, it's just very strange fight. It's not one I expected at all. I know there's the interviews of Frank Smith hinting at it, but I just didn't expect it to actually come about. Like, no disrespect to Jordan Thompson, I know he's unbeaten, but he's just not. He's not a big name at all. So yeah, it's really weird, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, like we've kind of gone around in a circle here. It looked like the Riakporhe fight was going to happen at one stage. And for what, yeah, as I said, for one reason or that's not happening. That's not happened. What what were your thoughts on the Riakporhe fight when it was being rumored? Did you think, like, who would you have had as the favorite going into that fight?
Um, if you'd have asked me before the Bradis win, I'd have probably said Riakporhe, but I know Bradis is I don't want to say he's on a decline, but it does appear that he's not as good as he used to be.
Mm.
But he's still a top level fighter. So I hadn't really seen much of Jaya Pataya. So I was very skeptical when that fight got announced. And to be honest, I agreed with the decision. I do think he won that fight. Um, so I think I think he's still very raw. I think he can be a bit gung ho at times. And I still think that there's quite a bit for him to learn. So I think I'd probably lean towards Opetaia. But again, an intriguing fight because two fighters who obviously Opetaia's had his coming out fight now, but two fighters who some might argue aren't necessarily world sort of level fighters. And to be honest, the IBF is sort of I'd value the IBF as a better bout than WBO or the WBA. So
Yeah,
for that title to be in contention for it is a good opening chance for Opetaia, Riakporhe, even Thompson if he can get the shock victory. But yeah, it's interesting that it's that title. And just yeah, it's just strange, really.
yeah. You mentioned shock victory there for Jordan Thompson, so we'll get on to that. What chance do you give Jordan Thompson of beating Joe Opetaia? As I mentioned, Jordan Thompson 15-0, 12 stoppages, so he can punch a bit. Beat Luke Watkins via sixth round stoppage earlier this year. Basil Duca is another name on his records. He beat him via unanimous decision, although he did suffer a late knockdown. Yeah, at the end of that fight. Um, Apart from that fight, look, he's not had he's not had many kind of high level opposition fights. If you think of some of the names in that division, there's obviously Isaac Chamberlain, Mikel Lowell. I feel like somebody on that sort of level would have, like, somebody who's you can debate what level those guys are on. Obviously, they're about to fight for the British title soon, but Isaac Chamberlain is kind of maybe operates at a high level, and that you can that's a different debate. But yeah, what chance do you give Jordan Thompson? Not just based on his resume, but based on his kind of what he can do in the ring. What chance do you give him?
I've only seen bits and bobs of him. I'll be honest. I haven't seen too much of him to do a full detailed analysis, but I don't think that's necessarily his fault. I don't think he's had that much coverage so far in his career. Um, from what I have seen of him, I'll give him a puncher's chance because he has shown he's obviously with his knockouts, he can punch. And especially the higher weight divisions you go up, the more of a puncher's chance you've got, especially if you're a bit of a knockout artist and you've got a fair amount of stoppages on your record. So I'd definitely give him a puncher's chance. And to be honest, if he can get that knockout, it's not the cruiserweight division it was sort of maybe 3 years ago or so. You know, Bradis is sort of getting on his career. Usyk's at heavyweight, Gassiev's at heavyweight. It's not the strongest cruiserweight division I've seen in a while. Badu Jack's still about, and he's about 47 or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I'll give him a puncher's chance. And to be honest, like I say, with the IBF title, if he did secure, which I would say it would be a shock victory personally, if he did get that, it opens the door to some massive fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, still waiting news on this Chris Billam-Smith, Lawrence Okoli fight, which will obviously be a rematch from May. I mean, the winner of Isaac Chamberlain and Mikel Lowell, you'd think that puts them in a big fight. Richard Riakpor's still around. We don't know what's going to happen with him. If he's maybe going to fight Gulamarian in another world title fight, that's a possibility. But yeah, look, it's potential exciting division. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll leave it there, Owen. But yeah, not the fight we were expecting. No doubt we'll be watching it and seeing what happens. And look, whether Jordan Thompson has done enough to secure a world title fight, is debatable. But regardless of that, here we are. So we will see what happens. Owen, thank you very much for joining me. I'll speak to you again soon.
Pleasure as always, mate.